welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon Reviews. As it turns out, we were able to wrangle our regular schedule this week, mainly due to the alternate plans getting canceled. Like, the stomach flu is messy business. Like, you laugh, but there's a reason I don't have it right now. Like, I did have to tell my brother, no, I'm not going down there. You know, your kid's sick and highly infectious. You know, it's nothing personal. I mean, I guess you could frame it as personal. Anyway, getting back on track here. Got three reviews, one impression this week, starting with UuultraC. Now, if you've been watching the most recent Manga Gamer interviews, you're probably going to be familiar with this one, because this has been the background visual novel for at least, the last 2-3 times you had John on the program?
Something like that.
Yeah, mainly down to the fact that while this isn't exactly safe for work, it's, it's not so explicit where we can show it on screen.
It's safe enough for Twitch we won't get banned.
Yeah, which is not something we can say for a lot of Manga Gamer visual novels, especially of recent vintage.
Oh, God.
Because it seems like every time I talk to John, it's like, oh, we got this, and it's got this and this in it. Like, and I'm like...
Homie, have you read Twitch TOS in the last 20 years?
Well, I think that's why he brings it up with me.
Fair.
Like, because I have told him repeatedly that, no, we're not... there is a line that we cannot cross because Twitch doesn't allow that line to be crossed.
Yeah, we're not exactly prudes, but we kind of have to be somewhat on Twitch because we don't want to be banned.
Yeah. And, we could probably get away with it with our viewership numbers, but why take the chance?
Yeah, I've been a big fan of Russian Roulette, personally.
Anyway, getting back to UuultraC itself, it's actually been a while since we talked with John about this particular title. So, as a refresher, an 18-plus BL visual novel set in the 1970s Soshigaya, kaiju straight out of a black and white TV terrorized Japan without a World's Fair. I'm not sure if that was translated right, but Tokyo's safety is in the hands of Sun Mask Icarus in the slapstick yet heavy 70s pro wrestling kaiju drama. So, in terms of what kind of visual novel this is it defines itself as a traditional visual novel, or, it's a novel-ass visual novel. None of this making choices or trying to pick a particular person. None of that here. This is all, premeditated story, right down to having a named protagonist.
That's how you know you don't have roots.
Yeah. Who has a voice. Shotaru. I will also note that this is a boys love visual novel, so that's kind of one of the selling points here. It's not unusual for this to have the male protagonist speak. Maybe it is. Like, granted, there are different levels, and this is admittedly a genre of visual novels that we're not terribly familiar with, for, if not obvious reasons. It's because, boys love isn't really our genre here. It's just, we're reviewing this because it's actually, this is what's come up in terms of what we've been showcasing on the Manga Gamer streams recently. So we figured it was worth putting through some paces in a more critical eye, so to speak. But that, I suppose, is the thing to note first and foremost. If you're not into BL, you're probably going to want to apply elsewhere here. I suppose, yeah, there's other things going on for it, but, you know, the relationship drama that's going on in this is very much a part of the story. You know, a lot of the whole kaiju drama is backstory. Not all of it. Like, it will come into play some of the time. Some of the times it's pure fucking melodrama with main trio. Like, and once again, in terms of how to judge this on Boys Love, yeah, that's a bit beyond my reach. In terms of overall what Manga Gamer has given us in terms of visual novels before, it's a massive step up from, you know, just like the last visual novel we covered, which was a while ago. Now that I think about it, Room Number 9, you know, that was honestly one of the worst things I've ever had to review for this channel. Like, you know,
and we thank you for your sacrifice.
Yeah. You know, it's like I don't just inflict the bad stuff on the colleagues here, or I do handle some of the bad stuff myself from time to time. You know, that was just bad in a, oh God, you know, the consent issues alone were horrifying. But anyway, getting back to this, this is very much more. This is very lighthearted, though also very melodramatic. You know, soap opera-esque, if you will, which I suppose fits with the pro wrestling bent that the game has. In visual novel terms, well, that's where things get interesting, because this is probably one of the most stylish visual novels we've ever covered on the program. Maybe not from a technical point of view. Like, it doesn't, at least from my time playing it, it's a visual novel, and it looks like it's a pretty full-on visual novel. So that means tens of hours that I didn't have. Like, this thing boasts it has 1,800 CGs in it. That's quite a lot.
That is not a small number. That is a very large number.
Yeah, it is. I'm like, while it doesn't have a fully animated sequence or anything like that, it's definitely one of the most artistic visual novels that I've encountered. In the like, it's got a flair, both visually and musically. Like, the music to this was actually pretty good, which is, quite frankly, astounding, because I found most visual novel music to be the most forgettable shit ever. But, you know, having jazz in your visual novel was inspired, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't play all the time. Like, sometimes, you got the silence going on there. Sometimes it plays for whatever beat it needs to. So, yeah. And I suppose that's about how far I can get into this. Because this makes for a very unusual review, because I, and indeed we, are not the target audience or demographic in any way, shape, or form. You know, this is either for gay guys or straight women. You know, but it doesn't, like, you know, the fujoshi bait. That being said, I can appreciate what this is. Especially on technical levels, I don't often get to appreciate visual novels. Like I said, I cannot remember the last time I praised the music of a visual novel. It's always like the least important thing, or at least most of the time. You know, I think like there's been a few of these that had decent to good music, but it's rare. It's a lot rarer than it should be. Anyway, with that aside, this game does clock in at $34.99. I mean, the spring Steam sale is going on, so it's currently $25 or $26.24. Though, anyway, $35. That is on the higher end of the visual novel scale. Maybe not full bore. Like, you know, I think we've covered visual novels that have been slightly to moderately more expensive, but $35 is definitely on the more, definitely on the higher end, which is why I would definitely stress you do have to be interested in the subject matter, and you do have to, I don't know, sort of have a sense of humor about it. Like, if you're looking for this to be played, you know, for lack of a better term, straight, like, or rather serious, this isn't that kind of story. And it's probably for the best that it doesn't. So, yeah, anything else on to ask on UuultraC here?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'm good aside from the name being that way, but I think you probably covered that before I got here.
Well, I don't think I actually mentioned it, but you know, it came up in the interview. It's like that because it has 3 U's in it, you know, and you're supposed to pronounce it ultra, you know, it's denoting elongation.
Okay.
Of the vowel. That's what I remember John telling us. So it's not UuultraC, it's UuultraC.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like pronouncing it that way, but you know, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right then. So that'll about do it for this game. Be sure to tune in after the break, as we'll be talking, or rather, Petty will be reviewing Spellforce, Conquest of Io.